Good morning. Welcome to this latest webinar in the Northern Automotive Alliance series of webinars hosted by Action Coach Business Coaching Bolton. My name is Paul Lim. I'm the Managing Director and Head Coach here at Action Coach Bolton. We're going to get started now. Just while we're waiting for the final people to log on with their tech issues, etc., please can you just check the notes on the left-hand side of the screen here, and just get onto your mobile phone or your tablets and go to your web browser and type in menti.com, search for menti.com. When you get on there, enter the code and answer the two questions that are on the menti.com screen. And then we're going to use those as part of the presentation. Just give us an idea of what version of LinkedIn you're using, and also what you want to get out of LinkedIn as well. So if you can complete those, that'd be absolutely great. So we are here once again with Paul Jones, who's the Chief Executive of the Northern Automotive Alliance. Paul would normally do an introduction on this, and indeed in the original webinar he did. This is a re-recording of the webinar, or at least the first section of the webinar. We had a problem with the original recording, so you won't hear Paul's voice on this, but this is his introduction as the CEO of the Northern Automotive Alliance, based in the northwest of England. The NAA is an independent not-for-profit company which exists really to provide support and services for members of the automotive industry community. They've organised a series of webinars to help business owners and people involved with the automotive community over the period of the pandemic. My job today is to keep you engaged throughout the webinar itself, educate you around LinkedIn, and hopefully empower you to move forwards and do some more of what you want to do with LinkedIn for your business. And we're going to find out why and what you want out of LinkedIn in just a second. The next thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to turn off my video, so you don't have to look at my ugly mug all the way through this presentation. There you go. So let's have a look at the poll and find out why you all wanted to come on the webinar today, what you wanted to get out of it. As far as LinkedIn is concerned. Let's just see if I can share the poll results with you. Here we go. So we've got 20 odd people on the call. 20 of you have filled in the questionnaire, and these are the results. So why do you want to? What do you want to use LinkedIn for? Well, nobody wanted to use it to get yourself a new role. So you're all happy with where you are at the moment. LinkedIn is used extensively by people who are looking for a new job. It's also used extensively by people who are looking to recruit into their business. But none of you are looking to recruit somebody into your business at the moment. 3 of you are looking to actively sell your business, and you're using LinkedIn for that reason. Great platform to be able to use to get some further interest in your brand and in your company. But most of you are looking to get new leads for your business, and extensively that's what LinkedIn is actually used for, but quite often in the wrong way. The second question was, what version of LinkedIn are you using right now? And I can see that by far the vast majority of you are using the free version. And we're going to go into some of the different versions that you can get through LinkedIn as well. Some free, some paid for. So let's switch back to the presentation now. So we're going to have a quick look at what LinkedIn is all about, what it is, look at the different version comparisons. Then we'll have a look at how to build your professional brand. We'll have a look at some LinkedIn best practice, talk a little bit about their trust and security team, and then how to build your network and how to build an engagement for you. The first place we're going to stop is just to ask what LinkedIn is all about. And it's quite simple. It's a professional network on the internet. It's the world's largest online professional business community. It's a platform for anybody looking to navigate their professional life in whatever respect that might be. When you look at the numbers, they're absolutely incredible. And these numbers have actually changed. There's now 675 million registered members of LinkedIn. When this stat was taken, it's not that long ago. There were at least 260 million active users on a month-by-month basis. And if you look at the countries who use LinkedIn the most, behind the USA, India, China, and Brazil, the United Kingdom is by far the biggest user and regular user of LinkedIn from in terms of number of members and monthly active users. It's a fantastic opportunity. Obviously, if you look at Facebook, they've got something like 2.6 billion individual registered members, but it's used in a very, very different way. And LinkedIn is by far the world's largest business-to-business professional community. If you look at the different versions of LinkedIn that we have, the vast majority of you are looking using free LinkedIn at the moment. And free LinkedIn gives you a little bit of access to the network. We'll go into what you actually get through the different versions in a second. When you move upwards to LinkedIn Premium, then there are a couple, 2 or 3 different versions of LinkedIn Premium that you can get. LinkedIn Premium, you can get a career version, which gives you help to get yourself hired and to get ahead in the recruitment game. You can get LinkedIn Premium for Business, which helps you to grow and nurture your network. And then you've got Sales Navigator, and you've got recruitment as well. So, you know, all of these varying costs. Premium starts around about 25 quid, up to Sales Navigator at 80 quid or so, and the premium hiring solution through LinkedIn is around about the same price as well. We at Action Coach have Sales Navigator Enterprise. We work with LinkedIn on a global basis with thousands and thousands of licenses, and we're paying them hundreds of thousands of pounds a year, hundreds of thousands a year. So we get a vast amount of support from them as well, as you can well imagine. If you look at the comparison table in terms of what you get for each of the different varieties of LinkedIn, LinkedIn Free gives you a limited access to the network. So your first degree contacts and second degree contacts, and a small number of your third degree contacts. For those who want a bit more of understanding around that, a first degree contact is somebody you're directly linked to. Second degree contact is somebody who's got a connection with one of your first degree contacts, but somebody that you're not directly connected to. And a third degree contact is somebody who has a contact with your second degree contact, but not with a first degree contact, and not with you directly either. So it's a friend of a friend of a friend. The other thing with LinkedIn Free is you only get to see the last 5 people who've looked at your profile as well. You don't get any in-mails included in the price. You can buy them. And you don't really see a vast extent of the LinkedIn network or any other specific tools to search with. LinkedIn Premium Business allows you to see anyone who's looked at your profile in the last 90 days. You get 15 in-mails per month. Now, in-mails are messages you can send to people that you're not directly linked to, so people outside of your first degree connections. And you get an extended network, so you get access to more of the network. When you move on to Sales Navigator, you can see people who've viewed your profile in the last 90 days. You get more in-mails. You get access to wider network. You get some very specific advanced searching and filtering tools, so it really allows you to focus in on your target markets. You can save the leads that you find through that. And with Sales Navigator, you have a separate alerts field, so you don't need to try and search and find them on LinkedIn itself. You can work through Sales Navigator and see the alerts for when people post, move jobs, publish articles, all that kind of stuff. And in the top versions, you get integrations with specific CRM systems like Microsoft Dynamics CRM, which we have here at Action Coach as well. So there's a lot of difference and a lot of reasons to look at paid for versions. You can get a 30-day free trial, so give them a go, see what you think. Let's have a look at building your professional brand now. When there was a survey done quite recently of LinkedIn members, 89% of them said that they conduct research anonymously sometime during the first 6 months of their buying process. 89% of them. So the vast majority of people are looking and researching before they even contact you. They're gathering intelligence on their options in advance of having to fill out any forms, make contact with people, look at any quotes, all that kind of stuff. 89% of people. But more importantly than that, when you look at the purchasing decision, 57% of the purchasing decision is complete before they contact a supplier. Their awareness is complete. They've almost finished evaluating the products and services and companies that they're planning on working with, and they're getting to the stage where they're close to selecting somebody before they even call anybody to speak to. So just those two reasons alone are enough for you to want to build your professional, personal, and company brand on LinkedIn. When Nielsen surveyed companies who were looking to choose a service provider for their organization, and they asked what factors did they consider to be the most important, the one that came out ahead of everything else was the fact they were looking for trustworthy, transparent organizations who could be flexible in their engagements with people. And below that came consistency, other success, and advocacy. So consistency, transparency, knowing, liking, and trusting somebody is really important to people. So when we talk about building your professional brand, the first place to start is your profile. So once you've created an account on LinkedIn and confirmed your email address, and you start building your profile, you can choose a custom URL. So just choose your first name and last name, or initials, or whatever. If you've got a very common name, you might have to play around with it a little bit if somebody else has already got your custom URL. But choose something that suits you. You'll see mine later on in the presentation. It's just Paul-Lim. Once you've got your custom URL sorted, choose a professional photograph. I'm amazed still how many people have got pictures with them holding a pint or a glass of red wine. I saw one yesterday, somebody who had their face painted with a tiger, some kind of kids party. You see all sorts of different things and stuff which might feel appropriate for Facebook or Instagram if it's your personal stuff, but certainly not for a professional business to business network. You'll see why in a minute. Choose a professional photo. We've got somebody on the webinar this morning, a young lady called Liz Hall from Liz Henson Photography. She did my professional photos. She's a great photographer, highly recommended. That's Liz Henson Photography. She's not paying me, I assure you. Once you've got your professional photo, choose a great background photo that reflects your brand, reflects your industry, or says something about you. Make it attention grabbing so it really brings people in. And then you need an attention grabbing headline. We'll explain a little bit more why in a minute. It's just a short attention grabbing headline that really states the value that you bring to customers. So don't just put your job title in there. Say what it is that you're doing for other people. Once you've done that, have a look at your summary. That should be, it's your opportunity to make yourself and your brand memorable. Talk about your expertise, talk about your passion, but make it about your customers. They listen to one radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? So when you read through your summary, if it's got lots of I do this, I do that, we do this, I used to do, I did this, then change them to you and your. Make it about your clients, make it about your customers. Talk about your experience. You don't need to list every single job that you've done since you left school. I saw somebody who'd even put down that they were a paperboy the other week. Not really relevant to a 40-year-old company director. But put the relevant stuff, at least your last 2 or 3 roles. Use a tone that speaks to your customer though, and avoid just copy and pasting your CV in there. Make it relevant, make it focused on results as well, the results that you were getting and what they can bring to your current role and your current prospects. You can add rich media. Really important nowadays to have some videos, white papers, infographics, things like that. You can do the same at the bottom of your summary as well as at the bottom of your experience as well. And then finally, recommendations and adding to your skills are really important. You can ask people to recommend you for recommendation, and you can ask people to recommend you for skills as well. But it's better for you to actually write a recommendation for somebody else. If you write one for somebody else, more often than not, they'll write one for you. And the same with skills. Recommend somebody else based on the skills. Click somebody for specific skills, and they'll probably do the same for you. All of that helps you build your professional brand. Now, we mentioned background photos and background images. Let's just have a look at this slide. You can see that there's 4 different profiles on here. 3 of them have got a background image that says something about them or what they do. Cam Scott's is very similar to mine. I've got a room full of people at one of my workshops as my background. Cam does a very similar job to me, that's why. He works for our team in the UK on Action Coach. But look at the one on the bottom left. It's just got the standard LinkedIn blue background on there. Does that stand out? I don't think it does. It doesn't really say, it's not attention grabbing. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't really say anything about his brand or what he's about. So choose an appropriate background image. You know, when we'll just go back to this for a second. When we're running a separate LinkedIn workshop on the 1st of July, we're going to go into these sort of things in much more detail and some other things. So if you want to book on that, it's on the 1st of July at 2 o'clock for 2 hours. There'll be a link at the end of the presentation, and we'll send some details out with the link to the recording afterwards as well. So we'll cover LinkedIn in much more detail, and also probably touch on some of the other social media and on Sales Navigator in more detail as well. Now, we also talked about writing a compelling headline, and this is one of the reasons why. You want to attract attention for the right reasons, first of all. So having a good photo there, a professional photo, is really important. Look at where people, this heat map photograph is an image of where people hover with the mouse, and that where they're hovering with the mouse is normally where they're reading on the page. And the vast majority of time is spent around your image and your headline. So if you want to grab attention, make sure you've got a good professional photograph and that your headline speaks volumes. You want to attract attention for the right reasons. And the other reason for that is attention span has been declining for decades now. You know, if you look where it was even in year 2000, on average it was 12 seconds. It's gone past the attention span of a goldfish now, and it's half to a third of that of a goldfish now. So 3 to 5 seconds. You've got to grab attention and quickly. And finally, just on this is looking at your own profile. Make sure that everybody can see your contact details. I'm amazed that I talk to people and say, oh, no, I don't want to put any contact details. I don't want people to contact me. God forbid. Why wouldn't you want people to contact you? This is a professional networking platform. It's there for you to promote your brand, your personal and your business brand. Why wouldn't you want people to get in touch with you if they're interested in your products and services? You're trying to put people off from buying from you. So make sure you've got as many contact details there as you can so they can follow up in one way or another with you. Your company pages are the voice of your organization's brand. It's your opportunity to promote your organization rather than your personal profile. Your personal profile needs to talk about your brand, obviously, but your company pages are much more flexible. You'll be able to talk about your company, and members who are following your page, LinkedIn members who are following your page, and when you share your company page into your personal profile as well, they can learn more about your organization, your product, services, and potentially job opportunities as well for your company. You can also share with your employees your posts from your company pages, so they can then share it on their profiles as well. A bit of best practice for company pages. First of all, if you're going to build a company page, make sure it doesn't already exist. You know, the number of times where we've duplicated pages with slightly different names and things like that. Make sure you've got your own personal LinkedIn profile created first. You can't create a company page unless you've already created a personal LinkedIn profile. Make sure you've confirmed the email address that's associated with your account with LinkedIn, your personal profile, and then start to build your network before you build a LinkedIn company page. If it's just you, LinkedIn won't allow you to build a company page until you've got some first-degree connections on there. And then once you've done that, click on the work icon that's on the top right of your LinkedIn homepage. I'll move on to the next page to show you that. Up at the top right-hand side, you can see a square with 9 dots in it. Click on that work icon and then go down to the bottom of the drop-down menu, and it says Create Company Page, and you can do that. And just as an example, this is Bentley Motors company page. Amazing image across the top, company logo, lots of excuse me again, lots of videos, lots of posts about products and services. They've got 3,222 people who have connected their personal profiles to Bentley Motors to say that they're employees of Bentley Motors, or previously employees of Bentley Motors in some cases who haven't updated profiles. And it gives you the opportunity to promote your business, your brand. You can put various other pages linked to this. If you want to put sub-brand pages on there, you can do that as well. But it's a great opportunity then to promote jobs, promote opportunities, promote your brands, promote your people, and share that then through your personal profile as well. The more people that you can get following, and if you look at this, Bentley Motors has got 235,679 followers who are seeing this, and they will always see what you post. It'll appear in their newsfeed. Now, when you're posting something onto your newsfeed, normally, unless it gets engagement quite quickly, it'll drop down the newsfeed and out of sight for most people. But if people are already following your page, they will definitely see your posts on your page. We're going to move on to a bit of LinkedIn best practice. Somebody has just said, my business is just E. Oh, I presume by that you mean my business is just me. How would I make that page different to my business page? Confuses as to which is which. So your personal profile is you. You can talk about your brand and about what you do, but think about your business as a business. If you think about your business separately to you as a person, then you can create a company page that talks about your business specifically and about what your business provides. What's the afters of your business? What are the products and services that your business provides? So it's a little bit different to talking about you personally, and particularly for those people who want to grow a brand and grow a business, company page is the best way to do that rather than just your personal profile. Now, I'm not saying don't post on your personal profile, because we're going to talk about posting and engaging in a minute. That's really important. But your company page is the opportunity to promote the products and services that your business provides. Increase the brand of your business rather than just your personal profile. Because over time, you may want to separate your business brand from your personal profile a little bit more. And if you're only doing it on your personal page, you can't really do that. Hope that helps a little bit, Helen, with that. Right, moving on to LinkedIn best practice. LinkedIn have a trust and security team, and they'll look at certain user behaviors that have undermined LinkedIn's efforts to promote the online networking function of LinkedIn. And they will restrict users significantly if you're doing that. So their trust and security team monitors all member activity. Some of it's automated, but some of it's manual. They'll look at certain activities and behaviors that will breach the user agreement. So some things that will breach user agreements, things like having 2 profiles. Some people will say, well, set one up for your personal profile for one business. If you've got another business, set another profile up for that, but just do it on your personal profiles. They don't like that, and you will get both profiles blocked if you do. If you're, let's have a look at some other things, actually. So connection, excessive outbound connection requests is a big one for the trust and security team. So in the past, a lot of companies have recommended the throw as much mud as you can and see what sticks method of getting connections. Just send as many connection requests out as you can. And if you get connections, great, you can then message them about your products and services. Well, that doesn't really work. LinkedIn don't like it, and they will restrict your profile if you're not careful. If you don't know them, then make sure you've started to engage with them on LinkedIn and maybe even outside of LinkedIn. So you get some real engagement with them through LinkedIn before you connect. If you send loads of connection requests and those connection requests get ignored, or worse, gets ignored and the person who you've tried to connect with says, I don't know this person, because you get the opportunity to say that if you ignore a connection request, then LinkedIn will take action. They will take action, and they will restrict people's profiles. So just sending out as many connection requests as you can isn't the way to go, because a lot of you will have had this. I certainly get multiple connection requests every day. Most of them get ignored, and it's annoying at best. And you know, sometimes if we do decide to connect, and then the first thing you get on the back of that is a message saying, this is what we do. Would you be interested? We'd love to help you in your business by telling you about what we do. That's not the way to go about it. That's not. It's, imagine you're face to face with somebody at a networking event. You won't go up to them, and as soon as they say hello, you say, right, this is what we do. We want to sell to you. We really want to help you. It's not the way to work on LinkedIn. So you've got to get some real engagement with them. Just remember, when somebody ignores your connection request, you've not only prevented yourself from sending any future messages to them, but you've also potentially damaged a future relationship. So if it's somebody that you really want to connect with, you can engage with them in a different way. When it comes to thought leadership and content sharing, LinkedIn's the most trusted platform out of all of them in terms of security, legitimacy, community and user experience, and relevance for people. It's the ideal place to establish a credible voice for you. If you look at buyers, they're engaging with an average, this is another Nielsen stat, with an average of 11.2 pieces of content before they make a decision. So it's about how many of those touch points you're influencing in that process. So when you start sharing content, there's three things to bear in mind. The three benefits to bear in mind. First of all, you're building trust. Secondly, you're reaching out further if you're sharing content. So if you've got a company page and you put some content on that company page, and then your employees or you share that content onto your personal profile, the reach is 561% further than it is just through your branded channel. And conversion rates are higher when you engage properly with people. So the journey you need to go down is to create a really efficient profile, be authentic, be the human face of your organization, stay on top of the leading ideas, and then be where your customers are and identify new growth opportunities in that. Talk about what people care about in their businesses. So first of all, you've got to understand your audience. Who is your target market? Who's your audience? Who are your customer avatars, if you will? Because you've got to understand who your market is and who your specific targets are. You've got to get really, really refined, defined in your target market before you start posting. It's really important to know that. So once you understand what your audience needs are, and you can relate that to your expertise and start posting content that applies to both, then that's your sweet spot. If you think about what kind of content decision makers want to see, then things that they're currently working on is the most important. If it's short and easily absorbed, and ideas that are completely relevant and new and original are important as well. But timeliness and relevance are more important than pure originality. So you can share stuff. It doesn't have to be your original content always. You can share stuff from other areas. There's lots of content already out there. You know, whether it's on news channels, whether it's on LinkedIn itself, in other areas of LinkedIn, you can share stuff, but don't just copy stuff. Don't just duplicate stuff. So put your own original content out there, or share somebody else's content, but adapt it to your own expertise, if you will. If you want to look for where content is, if you just go to the search box at the top of LinkedIn, you can search for content right out at the top there. It gives you the option to search for content on any keywords that you put in there. That's one of the things that we'll cover in the LinkedIn workshop about content and the kind of stuff you can put out there to engage your audiences. If you want to publish an article, you can either publish a post or an article. When you go to the LinkedIn homepage, at the top of there, you've got a box that allows you to post. And then it's also got a checkbox in there to post an article, to publish an article. Publishing articles are a great way to start getting thought leadership and engagement. So publish regularly. You know, if you publish into your blog on your website, which you should be doing, if you're not, that's something else that we need to talk to you about. All of our clients are doing that because it helps with SEO on your website as well. And the same with LinkedIn. Start writing articles. It increases your thought leadership. In terms of regular posts, best time to post: Tuesday, Thursday, and Wednesday, according to LinkedIn, for engagement. So Tuesday first, Thursday second, Wednesday third, and these are the times between 6 and 7 in the morning, when people are just waking up, and the first thing a lot of people do is still look at their phones, isn't it? When they're on the morning breaks, sort of sometimes it's 10 and 11, they might get a cup of coffee and just have a quick look at the end of lunch, and then in the evening from 8 o'clock onwards. You'll know when you look at your phones and you start looking at things on social media and LinkedIn. But according to LinkedIn, these are the best times. So we mentioned before finding content. So this is how to find that content. So you can see the search box at the top. When you click into the search box, you get various options underneath. Content is one of those, so you can click on that. Another thing you can do is search for hashtags. Put hashtag at the start and then click on whatever word you want to look for. So if it was hashtag business coaching, for instance, then you can find that particular hashtag. You can see underneath there the hashtag, the 6,500 people following that particular hashtag. And when you put in your posts some hashtags at the bottom of the post, you'll all have seen those. People who are following those hashtags can then see your articles trending on the hashtag business coaching page. And you can follow that page if you want to. And you'll have a list down the left-hand side of any hashtags that you're following. Somebody's asked if you can see your contacts, who the contacts are following a company page. I don't know who you are, but if you want to email me afterwards at bolton@actioncoach.com and let me know, I'll give you the answer to that question, because I don't actually know. I think the answer is no, you can't. You can't see the individual contacts who are following your company page, I think is the answer to that. But obviously you can see who's on your profile, and you can invite people who are connected to you to follow your company page as well. I don't actually know. I'll have a look at that afterwards for you. So this is how to find content. The hashtags are a brilliant way to look for content, and there's some great hashtags out there. And again, this is one of the things we'll work on with you in the workshop. So how to engage with others, how to connect with others. Well, when you start, you'll see that when people first have a LinkedIn profile, until you get to 500 connections, it'll say how many connections you've got on your profile. Over and above 500 connections, it'll just say 500 plus. Now, I used to be one of these people who just thought that the more connections you have on LinkedIn, the better. But that's not the case. You want people who are relevant to you. Imagine it like this. If you go into a room that's got 1,000 people in there, can you talk to 1,000 people unless you stood on the stage at the front? So if you're in a networking event, you can only talk to a small number of people. So it's about building engagement. So whoever you're connected to, if you see somebody else that you want to connect to, you can see whether they're connected to any of your existing contacts. And you actually know your existing contacts well enough to be able to say, would you introduce me to X, Y, and Z? So start off with your circles of influence. And by that, we're talking about anybody that you currently work with, anybody that's in your industry associations, any other Northern Automotive Alliance members that you're connected to. Think about people that you used to work with, ex-colleagues that you want to stay connected to or you want to connect to. Your friends outside of your current and former businesses who are in business themselves, who know you, who will be quite happy to recommend you to others or introduce you to other people. So anybody, your neighbors, anybody that you know who's in business, who's within your circle of influence, those are the first people to connect to. And the second thing to do is to identify your target market. I've mentioned this before, but get really absolutely clear. And Sales Navigator is a brilliant tool to help you do that, to filter down, to find your very specific target market. You know, with 675 million members on LinkedIn, you've really got to focus in on who you want to speak to. And you can't follow and stalk more than a few people at a time. So once you've identified your target market, stalk them. It's the best way to describe it, stalk them. Watch what they're posting. Follow their content and engage with their content. And by that, I mean like their content. Comment on it. Share it with your network. Put a message on the content and share it with your network. And then once you've done that a few times, message them. If you've seen something that's really relevant to your marketplace, your target market, and you've shared that on your profile, send them an email message and say, just wanted to let you know that I really love that post that you put on earlier today. I've shared it with my network. Hope that's okay. Don't start trying to sell to them. Just say that, because the likelihood is they're going to come back to you. I'd say 8 to 9 times out of 10 when I do that, I get a message back and we start engaging in a conversation. Once you're engaged with them, connections come last. So once you've struck up that conversation and you've been through a few back and forth, you might say, well, you know, it'd be really interesting to maybe have a one-to-one over a coffee with you to learn more about your business. Shall we connect on LinkedIn and then we can do that? But once you've already engaged, then connect, because your connection rate will be much higher and it'll be people with whom you're already engaged with. I hope that makes sense to everybody. And we'll talk about that more in the workshop. You know, you need at least, think about the amount that people, of content that people were engaging with before they were making a purchasing decision. You need at least 11 engagements to make a sale. And just as another pro tip, if you're looking at CEOs, they're far more responsive from 9 p.m. onwards and on a Saturday and Sunday, amazingly enough. So my note to any CEOs on the call are, you definitely need a coach to help you, because if you're working over the weekend and at 9 p.m. onwards in the evening, it's the wrong time. Come and talk to me afterwards. We're just coming to the end of our webinar shortly, but the first thing I'd like you to do is to connect with me. But don't just hit connect. If you're connecting with anybody, always add a note to that connection request. And you can do that by, when you click connect, it'll give you the option to add a note onto it. So you can connect with me. My profile URL is at the bottom there, linkedin.com/in/Paul-Lim. Please connect with me. Put a note on to say you were on the NAA webinar this morning, and I will happily connect and engage with you. But please expect me to engage with you. If you just want to connect for connection's sake, don't bother. If you want to connect because you want to engage and have a conversation, then please do connect with me. I'd love for you to connect. I'd also love for you to have a look at the Action Coach website. It's bolton.actioncoach.co.uk. I'm looking forward to my phone pinging shortly with lots of connections from you all. And finally, what you're going to do next. There's some things that you have to do now. One of the things that I really want you all to do is to fill in a feedback form for us. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. By the way, if you've got any questions right now, please stick your questions into the Q&A box. We'll try and answer those questions as we're going along before we finish. Any that we can't, we'll take away and answer those again later. Teresa, you asked about data validation for CRM. When you get onto Sales Navigator, onto the more the higher band of Sales Navigator, you can link it up to certain specific CRM systems, and it goes through a data validation process to make sure that the links work within the CRM systems. So Microsoft Dynamics 365, which we use extensively through Action Coach, we can then link our LinkedIn profiles to our CRM systems, and it validates the data in there as well. So feedback form, there's the feedback form. It's bit.ly/NAA-4. I will put that into the box as well, if you bear with me 1 second. So I've put the link to that feedback form into the box. If you could all complete that while you're on the call before you leave, that'd be absolutely superb. We don't ask much of you, but filling in that feedback is really important to us to enable us to get better every time we do one of these webinars. There's also a couple of options on there for you to take some next actions. So hopefully you've all had a pad and a pen with you. And hopefully you've wrote down some action points. So if you have, brilliant. Choose 3, highlight them, or put a big asterisk next to them, and then take some action. We've got 2 very special offers for anybody who's on this call today. The first one is a LinkedIn workshop that we're going to run on the 1st of July at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There are limited numbers for that workshop. It's £47 plus VAT. You can book on it by going to the link that I'm just about to put into the box now, which is on our website. It's bolton.actioncoach.co.uk/events/LinkedIn-learning. But if you go to our website and click on the events tab, you'll find it on there, hopefully. Let me just check. Oh, it's not appearing on there yet, but it is on the. Let me just check that link's working. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, there you go. So you can click on that link to book on. It'll be appearing on the events page fairly shortly. We're going to give you the opportunity to book onto it first before we publicise it. We're only allowing a limited number of people onto that. And also, if you want some more personal one-to-one help to generate more leads for your business, or to learn a little bit more about coaching and how coaching might be able to help you in your business, then for anybody who's on the call today, we will offer a free one-to-one coaching session with our team here at Action Coach in Bolton, more likely than not with me. And we will give you some help. You'll get some hints and tips for your business moving forwards. You'll get some hints and tips on LinkedIn and other social media as well. But more importantly, it's about coaching you and your business to make more profit, to create a great team, for you to have the time that you dreamt of when you first went into business, to do the things which are really important to you. But that offer is open to all of you. I'm just going to finish by unmuting Paul. Paul, are you there?
I'm here, Paul. Yes.
All right. Any final comments from you?
No, thanks for thanks for that. Some great tips there. Paul, perhaps briefly you could tell us something about how to post on LinkedIn.
Yeah, how to post on LinkedIn. We did. There was a little section for the back. Oh, let's have a look. Where are we? You still see my screen?
Yep.
See if we can find the right. So we talked a little bit about how to publish an article at the top of the home page. So if you're not sure how to get to the home page, there's a little home button, and you can also click on the LinkedIn logo on the left-hand side of the search box to get back to the home page. At the top of the home page is a box where it says share an article, photo, video, or idea. You just click in there. It'll allow you to write your post in there, or to copy and paste your post into there. You can click and include an image, or you can click and include a link which will populate an image underneath as well. You can put hashtags underneath that, so people who are following specific hashtags can see your post in the hashtag page as well. And then you just click on the post button. Now, there's a couple of things to remember about posting. We talked about the best times to post, so Tuesday, Thursday, and Wednesday, and some specific times a day as well. It's more likely to get seen. Make your post engaging. Make it something that people want to read about. It's strange. We talk about putting something that's relevant on there, and that's really important. Relevant content, some engaging content, but it's got to be about you as well as your business. If you're posting your personal profile, some of it can be business, a little bit of it can be personal. From personal experience, I can tell you that I post lots on LinkedIn. Anybody who connects with me will see that I do post quite a lot on LinkedIn. Every now and again, I'll put something on that's not really relevant to the business. I've put a post on about my dog once, lovely dog, and I put a post about lunch on there. My PA and client liaison manager was worried that I wasn't eating lunch, so she brought me lunch around a few weeks ago. And those posts got more engagement, more views than anything else I've ever posted on LinkedIn. But it's about people engaging with that and engaging with you. And as a result of that, the business-oriented posts I put on after that got much more engagement, because those same people were seeing my other posts as well. So, put a post which is going to get real engagement on there. It doesn't specifically have to be about business all the time. And the more you do that, the more your other posts will start to get viewed. Does that give you a little bit of an idea on where to start, Paul?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you've expanded on that. That's great.
Brilliant. Okay. Helen has asked if you can schedule posts. Right, Paul, I'm just going to mute you again. Just go through a couple of last questions before we finish. Paul's asked if you can schedule posts. You can't schedule posts directly in LinkedIn. There are some tools outside of LinkedIn that you can use to help you to schedule posts that you're going to publish on LinkedIn, though. Can you connect an existing company page to a personal page rather than creating a new company page? Yes, I don't think there's an easy way to do that, Fran. You may well need to contact LinkedIn to sort that out for you. If there's a company page, if you know who the admin is for that company page, so whose personal profile it's already linked to, you can speak to them and ask to be added as an admin on your company page. So you can have multiple admins for a company page. It doesn't have to be just one person. If you have no contact and no way of speaking to the person who's the current admin for that page, and you've tried, then you can speak to LinkedIn. You will have to prove that it's your company and you've got responsibility for it, but then you can do. Fran, you've just put you're the admin. Right, so you should be, right, so can you connect an existing company page to a personal page rather than creating a new company page? Fran, if you're already the admin, then it's not actually connected. You just work as an admin for your company page, if you will. So are you saying that somebody else, we'll have to take this offline, I think, but if you're saying that somebody else created it and then added you as an admin, you need to get them taken off as an admin so you carry on as an admin, if you will, if that makes sense to you. So it then it's just you who's connected to that company page then. Hope that helps. Have we got any more questions? All right, thanks, Fran. Are you able to see contact? Covered that one, covered that one, covered that one. I think we've covered all the questions. Thank you so much for everybody. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Please, please, please fill in the feedback form. As I say, if you want to join us for the LinkedIn workshop on the 1st of July, please register for that as quickly as you can. On the page, you'll get the opportunity to book your tickets and pay for the tickets before we publish it to everybody else. Because it will get filled up quickly. We're only going to allow a limited number on there. And if you are the owner of a business, the managing director, CEO, the decision maker within the business, and you do want to have a coaching session, then I'm more than happy to give you an hour and a half and give you some hints and tips on how to move your business forward, and so you can learn a little bit about coaching as well. Thank you very much for your time. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Please connect with me on LinkedIn if you're not already, but prepare to be engaged with, and please engage with me if you're going to connect, and have a brilliant end to the week. Thank you very much.